You do not lose your peace because money exists. You lose your peace because money is controlling decisions you were supposed to control. Financial independence does not begin with luck, a shortcut, a miracle, or a burst of motivation. It begins with identity. It begins with discipline. It begins with a daily decision to stop acting like a victim of your income, your impulses, your fear, and your habits. If your money is chaotic, your mind will be chaotic. If your discipline is weak, your future will stay expensive. This audiobook is not about chasing wealth. It is about becoming the kind of person money cannot dominate. Chapter 1. Stop spending like you are still lost. Stop spending like you are still lost. That is the truth you must face first. Because the way you spend money is not random. It is not just a habit. It is not just a weakness. It is a reflection. It shows what you believe about yourself. It shows what you fear. It shows what you are trying to escape. It shows whether you are building a future or feeding a feeling. Every purchase is a vote for the person you are becoming. Remember that. Every purchase is a vote. When you spend without thinking, you are voting for chaos. When you buy things just because you feel stressed, lonely, bored, insecure, or tired, you are voting for emotional slavery. You are saying, "My feelings get to control my money." And if your feelings control your money, your feelings control your future. That is the problem. Most people think their financial stress comes from not having enough money. Sometimes that is true. But often, the deeper truth is this: they do not have enough discipline for the money they already have. They earn it. Then they leak it. They work for it. Then they waste it. They complain about pressure, but they keep feeding the patterns that create pressure. Small leaks sink serious futures. Not one purchase. Not one meal. Not one subscription. Not one small treat. The pattern. The repetition. The refusal to pay attention. That is what drains you. You get paid on Friday. You feel relief. You feel powerful for a moment. The money hits your account, and suddenly you forget every promise you made when you were broke on Thursday. You order food. Then you order again. You buy coffee. You buy snacks. You buy something online because it was on sale. You go out because you deserve it. You upgrade something you did not need. You spend to celebrate money that has not even been managed yet. Then Monday comes. The money is already smaller. The bills are still there. The stress returns. The confidence disappears. And now you are wondering why peace never stays. The problem was not Friday. The problem was identity. You are still spending like a person who does not trust the future. You are still spending like a person who needs comfort immediately. You are still spending like a person who has not decided who they are becoming. Every purchase is a vote for the person you are becoming. A disciplined person spends differently. Not because they hate pleasure. Not because they never enjoy life. Not because they are afraid of money. They spend differently because they understand the cost of unconscious decisions. They know that peace has a price. They know that freedom has a price. They know that every dollar sent in the wrong direction is a dollar that cannot protect them later. That is the key. It is not about being cheap. It is about being awake. It is not about punishment. It is about control. It is not about never buying what you enjoy. It is about refusing to let every mood become a transaction. You have a choice. You can spend to escape your emotions, or you can manage your emotions and protect your money. You can keep rewarding every impulse, or you can start training your identity. You can look successful for a weekend and feel trapped by Monday, or you can build before you show. Build before you show. That phrase matters because too many people are performing stability while privately drowning. They buy the outfit, the dinner, the phone, the trip, the image, the lifestyle. But there is no emergency fund, no margin, no plan, no discipline, no peace. They are not building. They are proving. And proving is expensive. You do not need their permission to stop performing. You do not need their approval to live below your income. You do not need applause for making mature decisions. You do not need to explain why you are saving, why you are cutting back, why you are saying no, why you are not spending just because others are spending. You are not behind because you choose discipline. You are behind when you keep pretending. Stop pretending. Look at your bank account honestly. Look at your habits honestly. Look at the small payments, the quick purchases, the automatic charges, the emotional spending, the little rewards you keep giving yourself for surviving another stressful day. Ask yourself a serious question. Does this purchase support my peace, or does it feed my pressure? That question can change your life. Before you buy, pause. Before you tap the card, pause. Before you click checkout, pause. Before you say, "It is only a little money," pause. Because small money is where discipline is trained. If you cannot control the small money, you will not control the big money. Do not lie to yourself about that. People say, "When I make more, I will save more." But if your habits are undisciplined at a lower level, they will expand at a higher level. More income does not automatically create more peace. More income often gives weak habits more room to grow. If you waste small money when you earn little, you can waste big money when you earn more. That is why this chapter starts here. Not with investing. Not with assets. Not with financial independence. Not with big strategies. It starts with the daily moment when you decide who is in charge. You or the impulse. You or the mood. You or the pressure. You have a choice. Control the habit, control the future. Start with awareness. For the next 7 days, track every dollar you spend. Not to shame yourself. To see yourself. Write it down. Food. Delivery. Gas. Clothes. Apps. Subscriptions. Coffee. Random purchases. Anything. Track it all. Then look for the pattern. Where does your money go when you are tired? Where does your money go when you are bored? Where does your money go when you feel insecure? Where does your money go when you want to feel like you are doing better than you really are? That is where the work begins. Because your spending is speaking. Your money is telling the truth. It is showing you what you keep choosing. And once you see it, you cannot keep pretending you do not know. Then build rules. Rules protect you when motivation disappears. Rules protect you when emotions get loud. Rules protect you when the weekend comes and your old identity wants to take over. Set a spending limit before the week begins. Decide your food budget before hunger makes the decision. Cancel what you do not use. Wait 24 hours before buying non-essential things. Create automatic savings before you have the chance to spend. Put distance between your impulse and your money. That is discipline. Not drama. Not motivation. Not a speech. A system. You need systems because your old habits are not going to surrender politely. They will argue. They will say, "You deserve this." They will say, "It is not that much." They will say, "You can start next month." They will say, "Everybody spends like this." Do not listen. Everybody is not going where you are going. Everybody is not trying to become free. Everybody is not trying to stop letting money control their peace. Choose freedom over comfort. Comfort says, "Buy it now." Freedom says, "Wait." Comfort says, "You deserve a reward." Freedom says, "Build a foundation." Comfort says, "It is only small money." Freedom says, "Small leaks sink serious futures." This is where your identity changes. Not in one huge moment. Not in some dramatic transformation. It changes when you stop betraying your future in small ways. You pack food instead of ordering again. You keep the old phone instead of financing a new one. You stay home one weekend and put money toward debt. You cancel the subscription you forgot about. You stop buying things for a version of yourself you are only pretending to be. You save first. You spend with intention. You stop making your bank account responsible for your emotional comfort. That is maturity. That is ownership. That is how peace begins. And no, it will not always feel exciting. Discipline rarely feels exciting in the beginning. It feels quiet. It feels restrictive. It feels uncomfortable. But then one day, you check your account and there is still money there. One day, an unexpected bill comes and you do not panic the same way. One day, you realize you are not afraid of every Monday. One day, you understand that the peace you wanted was hidden behind the habits you kept avoiding. Every purchase is a vote for the person you are becoming. So vote carefully. Vote for peace. Vote for strength. Vote for self-respect. Vote for the future version of you who is not controlled by every bill, every craving, every sale, every emotion, every invitation, every comparison. Because you are not just trying to have more money. You are trying to become a person who can hold money, direct money, protect money, and use money without being controlled by it. That starts with the small decisions. That starts with saying no when the old you would say yes. That starts with understanding that uncontrolled spending is not harmless. It is training. It is training you to be impulsive. It is training you to be reactive. It is training you to sacrifice tomorrow for a feeling today. Now you must train the opposite. Train patience. Train awareness. Train restraint. Train planning. Train the identity of someone who does not need to spend to feel powerful. Because real power is not buying whatever you want in the moment. Real power is not needing the purchase to feel okay. Real power is being able to walk away. Real power is being able to wait. Real power is being able to say, "This does not serve my future." That is the key. Stop spending like you are still lost. You are not lost when you have rules. You are not lost when you have direction. You are not lost when your money has a purpose before your emotions get access to it. Control the habit, control the future. Build before you show. Choose freedom over comfort. You have now learned that every purchase is a vote, every small leak matters, and financial peace begins when you stop letting emotions spend your future. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the next truth. Chapter 2. Your money follows your mind. Your money follows your mind. That is the truth you must understand now. Money does not move randomly through your life. It moves according to the condition of your thoughts. If your mind is scattered, your money will be scattered. If your mind is emotional, your money will be emotional. If your mind is undisciplined, your money will disappear into habits you do not respect and decisions you cannot explain. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. Remember that. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. You cannot build financial peace with a chaotic mind. You cannot create stability when every decision is driven by stress, comparison, boredom, insecurity, or fear. You cannot expect your bank account to become organized while your thinking remains disorganized. Money needs leadership. Your money needs leadership, not excuses. Most people want more money before they build more control. They believe more income will make them disciplined. They believe a raise will make them responsible. They believe a better job will finally make them calm. But more money will not fix an undisciplined mind. More money will only expose the mind you already have. If you are impulsive with little, you can become impulsive with more. If you avoid planning with little, you can avoid planning with more. If you spend to feel important with little, you can spend even more to feel important when your income grows. That is why so many people earn more and still feel broke. They get promoted. They get a raise. The paycheck grows. For a moment, they feel relief. They tell themselves, now things will be different. But then the apartment gets upgraded. The car payment gets bigger. The food delivery becomes normal. The subscriptions multiply. The clothes improve. The weekend spending increases. The money comes in bigger, but it leaves faster. The income changed. The mindset stayed the same. And when the mindset stays the same, the outcome repeats itself at a higher price. That is the warning. More money will not fix an undisciplined mind. You have a choice. You can keep blaming the amount, or you can start examining the pattern. You can keep saying, I just need more money, or you can ask, what would I do with more money if I still think the same way? You can keep waiting for life to rescue you, or you can begin leading your money with rules. That is the key. It is not about income alone. It is about direction. It is not about wanting peace. It is about building the mental structure that creates peace. It is not about being perfect. It is about becoming consistent. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. Look at how a scattered mind behaves. A scattered mind wakes up and does not know where the money is going. It checks the account only when fear gets loud. It avoids bills until the last minute. It saves randomly. It spends randomly. It starts goals and abandons them. It promises to change, then repeats the same behavior when emotion rises. A scattered mind does not lead money. It reacts to money. And when you react to money, money controls the atmosphere of your life. One bill ruins your mood. One unexpected expense destroys your confidence. One slow week makes you panic. One sale pulls you away from your plan. One invitation makes you abandon your budget. One moment of insecurity makes you buy something you did not need to impress people who are not responsible for your future. That is not freedom. That is emotional captivity. Control the habit, control the future. You must stop letting every feeling become a financial command. Feeling stressed does not mean you should spend. Feeling tired does not mean you should order everything. Feeling behind does not mean you should pretend to be ahead. Feeling insecure does not mean you should buy an image. Feeling bored does not mean you should shop. Your feelings are real. But your feelings are not always wise. You need rules for the moments when your feelings become loud. Your money needs leadership, not excuses. Start with one rule. Never make financial decisions in emotional heat. Do not spend when you are angry. Do not shop when you are lonely. Do not agree to payments when you are excited. Do not commit to expenses when you are trying to impress. Do not make money decisions when your nervous system is trying to escape discomfort. Pause. Breathe. Wait. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. This is not weakness. This is discipline. This is ownership. This is you saying, my future will not be directed by a temporary emotion. You do not need their permission to slow down. You do not need their permission to think. You do not need their permission to say, I cannot do that right now. You do not need their permission to protect your money from pressure. People will invite you into their spending habits. They will say, come on, live a little. They will say, you work hard. They will say, you only live once. But they will not pay your debt. They will not fund your emergency account. They will not carry your anxiety when the bill arrives. They will not live with the consequences of your weak decisions. You have a choice. Choose freedom over comfort. Comfort wants you to spend now and think later. Freedom wants you to think now so you can breathe later. Comfort wants emotional relief. Freedom wants long-term control. Comfort wants to look good today. Freedom wants to sleep well tomorrow. Build before you show. Build your savings before you show your lifestyle. Build your skills before you complain about your income. Build your plan before you chase the next purchase. Build your identity before you ask money to make you feel secure. Money cannot give you an identity strong enough to replace discipline. That must be built. And it starts in the mind. Every morning, you must decide what your money is for. Not vaguely. Clearly. Your money is for stability. Your money is for responsibility. Your money is for protection. Your money is for opportunity. Your money is for freedom. Your money is not just for comfort, reaction, performance, or emotional escape. Say it clearly. My money needs direction. My money needs rules. My money needs leadership. Your money needs leadership, not excuses. So build a simple system. Before the month begins, know your numbers. Know what comes in. Know what must go out. Know what debt must be reduced. Know what amount must be saved. Know what amount can be spent without guilt. Do not leave your money floating around waiting for your impulses to find it. Assign the money before the emotion arrives. That is discipline. If you do not assign your money a purpose, your mood will assign it a distraction. If you do not give your money a job, your habits will give it away. If you do not lead your money, your impulses will lead you. That is why financial rules matter. Rules are not punishment. Rules are protection. Rules are how you build peace into your daily life. Rules keep you from negotiating with every craving. Rules keep you from making the same decision 100 times. Rules create a calm mind because they reduce chaos. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. Maybe your rule is simple. Save first, spend second. Maybe your rule is no food delivery during the workweek. Maybe your rule is wait 48 hours before non-essential purchases. Maybe your rule is every raise gets split between savings, debt reduction, and controlled enjoyment. Maybe your rule is never take on a payment without sleeping on it. The specific rule matters less than the identity behind it. You are becoming someone who does not drift. You are becoming someone who does not need panic to create action. You are becoming someone who leads money before money becomes a problem. That is the key. It is not about fear. It is about leadership. It is not about restriction. It is about direction. It is not about hating money. It is about respecting the power of your decisions. Because every chaotic financial life has a pattern underneath it. The person avoids the numbers. Then the numbers create fear. Then fear creates spending for comfort. Then spending creates more pressure. Then pressure creates avoidance. Then avoidance creates more fear. You must break the cycle. Stop avoiding. Open the account. Review the charges. Look at the debt. Look at the subscriptions. Look at the habits. Look at the truth. Not with shame. With authority. Shame says, I am hopeless. Authority says, I am responsible now. There is a difference. You do not change by insulting yourself. You change by leading yourself. You change by telling the truth and then building rules that make the truth easier to face next month. More money will not fix an undisciplined mind. But a disciplined mind can do more with the money it already has. A disciplined mind can turn a modest income into stability. A disciplined mind can use a raise to build margin instead of lifestyle pressure. A disciplined mind can say no to the purchase, yes to the savings, no to the image, yes to the plan. A disciplined mind can wait. A disciplined mind can learn. A disciplined mind can recover from mistakes without returning to chaos. Control the habit, control the future. And understand this, the goal is not to think about money every second. The goal is to build a life where money no longer constantly attacks your peace. You build rules now so your future mind can breathe. You practice control now so your future self does not live in panic. You choose discipline now so money becomes a tool instead of a threat. That is financial maturity. Not having the biggest income. Not impressing the most people. Not buying the appearance of success. Financial maturity is when your mind is calm enough to make decisions your future will thank you for. So today, begin there. Do not ask only, how much money do I have? Ask, what condition is my mind in when I touch money? Am I calm or reactive? Am I leading or escaping? Am I building or performing? Am I choosing freedom or comfort? Those questions will expose the truth. And once the truth is exposed, you can begin to change. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. Your money needs leadership, not excuses. More money will not fix an undisciplined mind. You have now learned that money follows the condition of your mind, and that financial peace begins when your thinking becomes disciplined, calm, and directed. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the next truth. Chapter 3. Discipline is the price of freedom. Discipline is the price of freedom. There is no way around that truth. Freedom does not come from comfort. Freedom does not come from doing whatever you feel like doing. Freedom does not come from spending every dollar, avoiding every boundary, and calling it living. That is not freedom. That is weakness with better language. Real freedom is built through repeated self-control. Discipline now, peace later. Remember that. Discipline now, peace later. Every financial boundary feels restrictive in the beginning. Saving feels restrictive. Budgeting feels restrictive. Saying no feels restrictive. Bringing lunch instead of buying lunch feels restrictive. Canceling subscriptions feels restrictive. Waiting before making a purchase feels restrictive. But the restriction is not the enemy. The restriction is training. It is training you to stop being controlled by impulse. It is training you to stop being ruled by every craving. It is training you to stop trading your future for temporary comfort. That is the key. It is not about suffering. It is about strengthening. It is not about living small. It is about building room to breathe. It is not about denying yourself forever. It is about refusing to let your present mood destroy your future peace. You have a choice. You can choose the discomfort of discipline now, or you can face the discomfort of regret later. You can choose the pain of saying no today, or the pain of being trapped tomorrow. You can choose a boundary while you still have control, or you can wait until life creates boundaries for you. Choose freedom over comfort. Comfort tells you discipline is too hard. Comfort tells you to buy the meal. Keep the subscription. Upgrade the lifestyle. Spend the extra money. Take the easy option. Comfort tells you that tomorrow will somehow fix what you refuse to face today. But comfort lies. Comfort feels kind in the moment and becomes expensive later. Discipline feels strict in the moment and becomes peace later. Discipline now, peace later. Think about the person who brings lunch to work every day. Nothing about it looks impressive. No one applauds. No one says, "Look at that future freedom." Co-workers order out. They laugh. They say, "You are too serious." They say, "Live a little." They say, "It is only lunch." But the disciplined person knows something they do not know. Small money becomes serious money when it is repeated. The disciplined person looks boring before they look free. That person avoids unnecessary subscriptions. Not because every subscription is evil. Not because they cannot enjoy life. But because they understand that every automatic payment is a quiet commitment. $10 here. $15 there. $20 somewhere else. One app. One membership. One service. One forgotten charge. Small leaks sink serious futures. So they cancel what does not serve them. They save automatically. They decide before payday where the money will go. They do not wait for motivation. They do not wait for perfect timing. They do not wait until they feel strong. They build rules that work when they are tired. Do not wait to feel ready. Build rules that work when you are tired. That is discipline. Because if your financial plan only works when you feel motivated, it is not a plan. It is a mood. And moods change. Moods get tired. Moods get stressed. Moods get tempted. Moods get insecure. Moods want comfort. Your future cannot depend on your mood. Your money needs leadership, not excuses. This is why systems matter. A budget is a system. An automatic transfer is a system. A spending limit is a system. A weekly money review is a system. A waiting period before purchases is a system. A planned grocery list is a system. A debt payment schedule is a system. Systems protect you from the weaker version of yourself. Control the habit, control the future. You do not rise to the level of your dreams when your habits are undisciplined. You fall to the level of your systems. When life gets busy, you fall to your systems. When you are stressed, you fall to your systems. When people pressure you, you fall to your systems. When payday comes, you fall to your systems. So build better systems. Before the month starts, write down your basic obligations. Rent or mortgage. Utilities. Food. Transportation. Debt. Insurance. Savings. Do not guess. Do not float. Do not hope. Know the numbers. When you know the numbers, you remove mystery. When you remove mystery, you reduce fear. Then automate what matters. Save first. Even if it is small. Pay debt with intention. Even if progress feels slow. Set aside money for essentials before wants. Give yourself a controlled spending amount so discipline does not become denial. The goal is not to hate life. The goal is to stop letting life bully you through your own habits. Discipline now, peace later. The person who saves automatically may not look different in the first week. They may not look different in the first month. They may still drive the same car, wear the same clothes, eat the same simple meals, and say no to the same expensive invitations. But something is changing. Quietly, deeply, permanently. Their confidence is growing. Their margin is growing. Their options are growing. Then life happens. An unexpected bill arrives. The car needs repair. A family situation comes up. Hours get reduced. A job becomes unstable. And while others panic, the disciplined person breathes differently. Not because they are rich. Not because nothing hurts. But because they prepared. Preparation creates peace. That is what discipline buys. It buys a little space between you and fear. It buys time to think. It buys the ability to make decisions without desperation. It buys dignity. The disciplined person looks boring before they look free. Do not be ashamed of the boring season. The boring season is where freedom is built. The quiet routine. The repeated transfer. The packed lunch. The canceled subscription. The delayed purchase. The simple weekend. The extra shift. The skill practice after work. The debt payment. The grocery plan. The refusal to impress people who do not pay your bills. That is where your identity changes. Build before you show. You do not need their permission to build quietly. You do not need their permission to stop wasting money. You do not need their permission to become serious. You do not need their permission to have goals they cannot understand. Some people will mock discipline because your discipline makes their excuses uncomfortable. Let them talk. They are not responsible for your peace. They are not responsible for your future. They are not responsible for the stress you feel when money is uncontrolled. You have a choice. You can join the crowd and stay anxious, or you can look boring for a season and become free. Choose freedom over comfort. Now understand this clearly. Discipline is not a personality trait you either have or do not have. Discipline is a practice. It is built through repetition. You become disciplined by doing disciplined things before you feel like a disciplined person. You do not become responsible by waiting for a responsible mood. You become responsible by acting responsibly while your old habits complain. That is the key. Do not wait to feel ready. Build rules that work when you are tired. If you are tired after work, your grocery plan must already exist. If you are tempted on payday, your savings must already be automated. If you are emotional on the weekend, your spending limit must already be set. If you are pressured by friends, your answer must already be prepared. No, not this time. I am focused right now. I have other priorities. I am building something. Say it without shame. You are building something. You are building stability. You are building confidence. You are building the ability to sleep without financial panic. You are building the future version of yourself who does not live one emergency away from collapse. That future has a price. The price is discipline, not perfection. Discipline. You will make mistakes. You will overspend sometimes. You will miscalculate. You will feel frustration. You may fall back into old habits. But discipline does not mean you never fall. Discipline means you return faster. Discipline means you stop turning one bad decision into a whole bad season. Discipline means you correct the pattern before the pattern becomes your identity again. Control the habit, control the future. Do not make the mistake of thinking discipline takes life away from you. Undisciplined living takes life away from you. Debt takes life away. Panic takes life away. Living paycheck to paycheck without a plan takes life away. Working hard and having nothing to show for it takes life away. Needing every dollar before it arrives takes life away. Discipline gives life back. It gives you your attention back. It gives you your confidence back. It gives you your choices back. It gives you your peace back. Discipline now, peace later. So start small, but start seriously. Choose one financial rule today and keep it. Bring lunch 3 days this week. Cancel one unused subscription. Set an automatic transfer on payday. Create a weekly spending limit. Wait 24 hours before buying anything non-essential. Review your account every Sunday night. Pick one rule and obey it long enough to respect yourself again. That is how transformation begins. Not with a huge speech. Not with a fantasy. Not with waiting until everything is easier. With one rule. One boundary. One repeated action. One act of self-control that proves you are no longer available for financial chaos. Because money respects direction. Peace respects preparation. Freedom respects discipline. You are not trying to become someone who merely earns money. You are becoming someone who can manage money, protect money, grow money, and refuse to be controlled by money. That requires discipline. There is no shortcut. Discipline is the price of freedom. And if you pay that price daily, calmly, quietly, consistently, your life will begin to change. Maybe not loudly. Maybe not instantly. But deeply. You will stop fearing every bill. You will stop needing every impulse. You will stop letting comfort steal your future. You will stop living like your peace is for sale. You have now learned that freedom is built through repeated self-control, and that discipline today becomes peace tomorrow. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the next truth. Chapter 4. Build wealth before you look wealthy. Build wealth before you look wealthy. That is the truth you must accept. Looking successful can delay actually becoming stable. Looking wealthy can keep you broke. Looking impressive can trap you inside payments, pressure, and performance. Many people are not building wealth. They are decorating financial weakness. They are dressing up instability. They are buying the appearance of progress while avoiding the work that creates real progress. Do not dress up financial weakness. Remember that. Do not dress up financial weakness. A nice car does not mean freedom if the payment controls your paycheck. Expensive clothes do not mean confidence if your savings account is empty. A beautiful apartment does not mean peace if one missed paycheck would create panic. A weekend trip does not mean abundance if the credit card balance follows you home. If the payment owns you, the object does not prove success. That is the key. It is not about judging what people buy. It is about understanding what those purchases cost. It is not about hating nice things. It is about refusing to let nice things become chains. It is not about looking poor. It is about becoming strong before you try to appear strong. Build before you show. Too many people reverse the order. They want the visible rewards before the invisible foundation. They want the lifestyle before the discipline. They want the image before the margin. They want applause before ownership. They want people to think they are doing well before they have done the work required to actually be well. That is dangerous, because image is expensive. Image will ask for your savings. Image will ask for your peace. Image will ask for your future. Image will tell you to upgrade before you are ready. Image will tell you to finance what you cannot comfortably afford. Image will tell you to keep up with people whose financial reality you do not even know. You have a choice. You can build a life, or you can perform a life. You can own your decisions, or you can rent approval. You can become financially strong, or you can look strong while staying fragile. Do not dress up financial weakness. Think about the person who finances a car to impress people. Maybe the car looks clean. Maybe co-workers notice it. Maybe friends compliment it. Maybe the person feels proud for a week. But behind the image, there is no emergency fund, no investment habit, no room for mistakes, no cash cushion, no freedom. The image looks strong. The foundation is fragile. Then life happens. A repair comes. Insurance rises. Rent increases. Hours get cut. A medical bill appears. A family emergency arrives. Suddenly, the car that was supposed to prove success becomes another source of stress. The payment does not care how good the car looked. The lender does not care who complimented it. The bill arrives whether the applause continues or not. If the payment owns you, the object does not prove success. Understand this clearly. A purchase that steals your breathing room is not a reward. It is a risk. A lifestyle that requires constant pressure is not success. It is a cage with better lighting. A thing that forces you to work harder just to maintain the appearance of winning is not freedom. It is control. And this audiobook is about becoming someone money cannot control. So you must stop worshiping appearance. You must stop confusing visible consumption with financial progress. You must stop buying symbols of success while neglecting the substance of success. Real wealth is quiet before it is visible. Savings are quiet. Skills are quiet. Debt reduction is quiet. Automatic investing is quiet. Living below your income is quiet. Saying no is quiet. Building an emergency fund is quiet. Learning after work is quiet. Choosing patience is quiet. But quiet does not mean weak. Quiet is where power grows. The disciplined person looks boring before they look free. The person building real wealth may not have the newest phone. They may not drive the flashiest car. They may not say yes to every dinner, every trip, every trend, every upgrade. But their stress is shrinking. Their options are growing. Their future is becoming stronger. Build before you show. You do not need their permission to live simply. You do not need their permission to delay upgrades. You do not need their permission to drive what works, wear what is enough, and save what matters. You do not need their permission to choose freedom over comfort. Choose freedom over comfort. Comfort wants the reward now. Freedom wants the foundation first. Comfort wants to look successful today. Freedom wants to be stable tomorrow. Comfort wants the compliment. Freedom wants the choice. Comfort wants applause. Freedom wants ownership. That is the difference. And you must become serious enough to know the difference. Ask yourself before every major purchase, does this improve my freedom, or does this increase my pressure? Does this make me stronger, or does this make me look stronger? Does this create options, or does this create obligations? Does this support my future, or does this feed my insecurity? These questions are not small. These questions protect your life. Because if you keep buying things to feel successful, you may never build the structure that actually makes you secure. If you keep spending to prove you are not behind, you will stay behind. If you keep chasing the image, you will sacrifice the foundation. Control the habit, control the future. Start with the foundation. First, build emergency savings. Not because emergencies are negative thinking. Because emergencies are real. Life does not ask whether you are ready. It simply arrives. A cash buffer gives you dignity. It gives you time. It gives you room to think. It turns panic into a problem-solving moment instead of a crisis. Second, reduce high-pressure debt. Debt that drains your monthly income also drains your choices. Every payment is a claim on your future labor. Every unnecessary obligation makes your life less flexible. When you reduce payments, you increase freedom. Third, build skills. Skills increase your earning power over time. Skills create options. Skills make you less dependent on one person, one job, one manager, one company, one fragile situation. If you want long-term independence, become more useful. Become more capable. Become harder to replace. Fourth, invest slowly and responsibly when your foundation allows it. Not with panic. Not with hype. Not with fantasy. With patience. With consistency. With education. With the understanding that real growth takes time. Wealth is not built by chasing every shiny promise. Wealth is built by disciplined behavior repeated for years. That is practical. That is serious. That is ownership. It is not about flexing. It is about freedom. It is not about looking rich. It is about becoming stable. It is not about impressing people. It is about building a life that does not collapse under pressure. Do not dress up financial weakness. Some of you need to hear this directly. You cannot afford the lifestyle you are trying to display. Not because you are worthless. Not because you will never improve. But because your foundation is not ready. And pretending that it is ready will only delay your freedom. There is power in admitting, not yet. Not yet does not mean never. Not yet means I am building. Not yet means I respect my future. Not yet means I refuse to let today's insecurity create tomorrow's stress. You have a choice. You can say yes to the purchase and no to your peace. Or you can say no to the purchase and yes to your future. You can finance the appearance, or you can fund the foundation. You can chase recognition, or you can build independence. Build before you show. The world rewards image loudly, but life rewards discipline quietly. The world will notice the car before it notices the savings account. The world will notice the outfit before it notices the debt payment. The world will notice the trip before it notices the skill you practiced every night. But you are not building for the world. You are building for freedom. You are building for the day when a bill does not destroy your peace. You are building for the day when a job loss does not erase your identity. You are building for the day when you can make decisions from strength, not fear. You are building for the day when money becomes a tool, not a master. That is why you must protect your foundation from your ego. Ego wants to be seen. Discipline wants to be free. Ego wants the symbol. Discipline wants the substance. Ego wants to prove. Discipline wants to build. That is the key. Do not let ego design your budget. Do not let insecurity choose your car. Do not let comparison choose your apartment. Do not let social pressure choose your weekends. Do not let other people's opinions become monthly payments in your life. You do not need their permission. You need a plan. A plan says, I will live below my income. A plan says, I will save before I upgrade. A plan says, I will build skills before I complain. A plan says, I will reduce debt before I chase image. A plan says, I will choose freedom over comfort, even when comfort looks better. Control the habit, control the future. Because every financial decision is training your identity. When you choose foundation over appearance, you become stronger. When you choose patience over applause, you become calmer. When you choose ownership over performance, you become harder to control. And that is the goal. To become the kind of person who cannot be financially controlled. Not controlled by trends. Not controlled by opinions. Not controlled by comparison. Not controlled by payments made for applause. Build wealth before you look wealthy. Build the savings. Build the skills. Build the discipline. Build the emergency fund. Build the investment habit. Build the calm mind. Build the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your life is not dependent on impressing anyone. One day, the results may become visible. But by then, you will not need them to prove who you are. That is real strength. That is real peace. That is real financial maturity. You have now learned that looking successful can delay actually becoming stable, and that real wealth must be built quietly before it is displayed publicly. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the next truth. Chapter 5: The Silent Cost of Financial Weakness. Financial weakness costs more than money. That is the truth you must face. It costs sleep. It costs confidence. It costs choices. It costs relationships. It costs patience. It costs self-respect. It costs the quiet feeling that you are in control of your own life. Financial weakness charges interest on your mind. Remember that. Financial weakness charges interest on your mind. When every bill feels like a threat, your peace becomes dependent on the next paycheck. When your account is always low, your thoughts become loud. When you have no savings, every small problem becomes a crisis. When you have too much debt, your future income is already claimed before it arrives. That is not just a money issue. That is emotional captivity. No margin means no choices. You need to understand what margin is. Margin is space. Margin is breathing room. Margin is the difference between a problem and a panic attack. Margin is the money you do not have to spend immediately. Margin is the payment you no longer owe. Margin is the habit you stopped feeding. Margin is the savings that stands between you and desperation. Without margin, life owns you faster. Without margin, pressure has too much access to your mind. Without margin, you become easier to control. That is the danger. Think about someone working in a toxic job. The manager disrespects them. The schedule drains them. The work environment breaks their confidence. Every day they tell themselves, I need to leave. But they cannot leave. Not because they lack ambition. Not because they do not want better. Because they have no savings, too much debt, no plan, and no room for transition. So they stay. They stay because rent is due. They stay because the car payment is coming. They stay because the credit card balance is heavy. They stay because one missed paycheck could break everything. No margin means no choices. And that is when financial weakness becomes more than financial. It becomes psychological. It becomes emotional. It becomes spiritual pressure. It becomes the feeling that your life is no longer yours. Financial weakness charges interest on your mind. You may still laugh. You may still go to work. You may still post online. You may still tell people you are fine. But inside, you know the truth. You are tired. You are tense. You are calculating everything. You are hoping nothing goes wrong. You are living one surprise away from fear. That kind of living changes a person. It makes you short-tempered. It makes you distracted. It makes you avoidant. It makes you say yes when you want to say no. It makes you accept disrespect because you cannot afford resistance. It makes you trade peace for survival. That is why financial discipline matters. It is not about greed. It is not about flexing. It is not about looking rich. It is not about chasing applause. It is about protecting your mind. It is about protecting your options. It is about protecting your dignity. Your emergency fund is not just money, it is dignity. Say that again. Your emergency fund is not just money, it is dignity. Because when something breaks, dignity means you do not have to beg. When life shifts, dignity means you do not have to panic immediately. When a job becomes abusive, dignity means you can think clearly. When a bill arrives, dignity means you have a plan instead of a breakdown. This is why you build before you show. Build before you show. Build the buffer before the lifestyle. Build the savings before the upgrade. Build the foundation before the applause. Build the margin before the image. Do not dress up financial weakness. Do not buy the symbol of success while your peace is still fragile. Do not take on payments that reduce your choices. Do not make your monthly life so tight that every unexpected event becomes an emergency. Do not confuse looking comfortable with being secure. You have a choice. You can keep spending every dollar and call it normal, or you can begin creating space. You can keep living with no room for mistakes, or you can build a buffer. You can keep blaming life for every pressure, or you can take ownership of the decisions that make pressure stronger. That is the key. It is not about shame. It is about responsibility. It is not about blaming yourself for everything. It is about taking control of what you can control. It is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming prepared. Control the habit, control the future. Start with your obligations. Look at what you owe. Look at what you have agreed to pay every month. Look at the subscriptions, loans, credit cards, car payments, memberships, finance purchases, and habits that demand money from your future self. Every obligation reduces flexibility. Some obligations are necessary. Some are not. Some support your life. Some drain your peace. Some are investments in stability. Some are emotional decisions wearing the mask of lifestyle. You must learn the difference. Ask yourself, what payment is making me weaker? What habit is stealing my margin? What expense would I eliminate if I were truly serious about freedom? Do not answer softly. Answer honestly. Your money needs leadership, not excuses. If you have no emergency fund, building one must become a serious priority. Start with a small target. Not because that small target solves everything, but because it begins changing your identity. Save enough to cover a minor emergency. Then build from there. 1 week at a time. 1 paycheck at a time. 1 decision at a time. Do not wait until you can save a large amount. Save something. The person who saves something is training a new identity. The person who saves before spending is telling the future, I am coming prepared. The person who builds a buffer is taking power back from panic. Discipline now, peace later. You may have to say no. Good. Say no. You may have to reduce comfort. Good. Reduce it. You may have to delay upgrades. Good. Delay them. You may have to stop eating out so often, stop shopping for relief, stop joining every plan, stop financing every desire, stop pretending that small leaks do not matter. Good. Choose freedom over comfort. Comfort is the reason many people have no margin. Comfort says, you deserve it. Comfort says, it is only a little. Comfort says, you can start next month. Comfort says, everybody lives like this. But comfort will not rescue you when pressure comes. Comfort will not pay the bill. Comfort will not protect your sleep. Comfort will not give you options. Freedom requires margin. No margin means no choices. And you must become tired of having no choices. Tired enough to change. Tired enough to stop negotiating with habits that weaken you. Tired enough to say, I will not let my future be controlled by my lack of preparation. That is ownership. Ownership sounds like this: I may not control everything, but I will control my habits. I may not be able to change my income overnight, but I can change how I manage what I have. I may not be debt-free today, but I can stop adding unnecessary weight. I may not have a large emergency fund yet, but I can begin building one now. That is power. Not fantasy. Power. Financial weakness charges interest on your mind. But financial strength pays peace into your life. Slowly. Quietly. Repeatedly. Every debt reduced gives you more room. Every dollar saved gives you more breath. Every unnecessary obligation removed gives you more choice. Every disciplined decision makes pressure a little weaker. This is how peace grows. Peace grows when pressure has less access to you. Peace grows when every paycheck is not already consumed. Peace grows when one bill does not destroy your nervous system. Peace grows when you know your numbers. Peace grows when you stop avoiding reality. Open the account. Face the balance. Face the debt. Face the patterns. Face the subscriptions. Face the payments. Face the truth. Not to punish yourself. To free yourself. You cannot fix what you refuse to look at. You cannot lead money you refuse to measure. You cannot build freedom while pretending chaos is normal. You have a choice. You can stay vague and stay trapped, or get specific and start becoming free. Write the numbers down. Income, bills, debt, savings, minimum payments, interest, necessary expenses, wasteful expenses. Write them down until the fog disappears. Clarity is not always comfortable, but clarity is powerful. Once you see the truth, build the plan. Choose one obligation to reduce. Choose one habit to cut. Choose one automatic savings transfer. Choose one weekly money review. Choose one debt to attack with consistency. Choose one rule that creates margin. Do not try to become perfect overnight. Become serious today. That is the key. Serious people do not wait for crisis to teach them discipline. Serious people prepare before the storm. Serious people build space. Serious people protect their options. Serious people understand that money is not just numbers. Money is choices. Money is time. Money is peace. Money is the ability to say no when no is necessary. Your emergency fund is not just money, it is dignity. Dignity means you are not forced to accept every insult. Dignity means you are not destroyed by every surprise. Dignity means you can move with a little more calm. Dignity means your peace is not completely owned by the next paycheck. That is what you are building. Not just savings. Strength. Not just a budget. Freedom. Not just lower debt. Self-respect. Control the habit, control the future. When you build margin, you become harder to control. Employers cannot scare you as easily. Emergencies cannot break you as quickly. Trends cannot tempt you as deeply. Opinions cannot push you into payments as easily. Fear loses some of its grip. That is financial independence in its early form. It begins before you are rich. It begins before everything is perfect. It begins the moment you decide that your peace deserves protection. So stop living without margin and calling it normal. Stop treating every dollar like it must be spent. Stop letting unnecessary obligations crowd your life. Stop giving pressure unlimited access to your mind. Build the buffer. Reduce the obligations. Take ownership. Choose freedom over comfort. Build before you show. Become the kind of person who prepares quietly, acts seriously, and refuses to let money control their peace. You have now learned that financial weakness costs more than money, and that margin, savings, and ownership protect your confidence, options, dignity, and peace. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the next truth. Chapter 6. Stop letting comfort steal your future. Comfort becomes dangerous when it starts making your decisions. That is the truth you must face. Comfort is not always the enemy. Rest is not the enemy. Enjoyment is not the enemy. But when comfort becomes your master, it begins to steal from the future you claim to want. It steals quietly. It steals through easy purchases. It steals through lazy weekends. It steals through postponed goals. It steals through the soft sentence, "I will start next month." Comfort is expensive when it becomes your master. Remember that. Comfort is expensive when it becomes your master. Most people do not destroy their financial future in one dramatic decision. They do it slowly. They do it through repeated comfort. They do it by choosing relief over progress again and again until relief becomes their identity. They do it by avoiding the hard conversation, avoiding the budget, avoiding the debt, avoiding the job application, avoiding the skill, avoiding the discipline, avoiding the truth. Then years pass. The same stress remains. The same paycheck pressure remains. The same weak habits remain. The same excuses remain. Delayed responsibility becomes future pain. That is the warning. When you keep postponing what must be handled, you are not escaping the cost. You are increasing it. When you delay saving, delay learning, delay planning, delay changing, delay facing your numbers, you are not protecting yourself from discomfort. You are sending a larger discomfort to your future self. And your future self will have to pay for the comfort you keep choosing today. You have a choice. You can choose controlled discomfort now, or uncontrolled hardship later. You can choose the hard thing while you still have a choice, or you can wait until life chooses the hard thing for you. You can discipline yourself today, or you can be disciplined by consequences tomorrow. Choose the hard thing while you still have a choice. That is the key. It is not about hating comfort. It is about refusing to be owned by it. It is not about making life miserable. It is about making your future stronger. It is not about never resting. It is about earning rest without betraying your goals. Choose freedom over comfort. Comfort says, "You worked hard. Buy it." Freedom says, "You worked hard. Protect the money." Comfort says, "Skip the budget. You are tired." Freedom says, "Review the numbers so you can stop being afraid of them." Comfort says, "Learn the skill later." Freedom says, "Study for 30 minutes now so your income has a future." Comfort says, "Apply for better work next month." Freedom says, "Update the resume tonight." Comfort says, "Start saving when things are easier." Freedom says, "Things become easier because you start saving." Control the habit, control the future. Think about the person who keeps saying, "Next month. Next month, I will save. Next month, I will stop ordering so much food. Next month, I will start learning a skill. Next month, I will apply for a better position. Next month, I will pay more toward debt. Next month, I will get serious." But next month becomes the next excuse. And then another. And then another. Years pass, and nothing truly changes. Not because they were incapable. Not because life gave them no chance. Not because discipline was impossible. But because comfort kept winning the daily vote. Every day, comfort said, "Not now." Every day, the future said, "Please start." And comfort won. Delayed responsibility becomes future pain. This is why you must stop treating small delays like they are harmless. Small delays become serious delays. Serious delays become identity. Identity becomes destiny. The person who always delays responsibility becomes the person who always lives under pressure. You cannot keep delaying discipline and expect peace to arrive. Peace is built. Freedom is built. Stability is built. And building requires discomfort. Build before you show. Build before you feel ready. Build before people understand. Build before your life becomes easier. Because comfort will always give you a reason to wait. There will always be stress. There will always be fatigue. There will always be bills. There will always be distractions. There will always be people inviting you to waste time and money. There will always be an excuse that sounds reasonable. You do not need their permission to become serious. You do not need their permission to say no. You do not need their permission to choose a quieter weekend, a cheaper meal, a simpler lifestyle, a stronger routine, a more disciplined future. Some people will not understand your discomfort. They will ask why you are working on yourself instead of going out. They will ask why you are saving instead of spending. They will ask why you are studying after work instead of relaxing every night. They will say you are doing too much. They will say you are being too strict. Let them speak. They are not responsible for your future. They are not responsible for your debt. They are not responsible for the panic you feel when money is tight. They are not responsible for the regret you will carry if you keep delaying your growth. You have a choice. Choose the hard thing while you still have a choice. Now understand what controlled discomfort looks like. It is not dramatic. It is not extreme. It is not fake suffering. It is simple. It is practical. It is repeated. Controlled discomfort is cooking at home when you want to order delivery. Controlled discomfort is saving first when you want to spend first. Controlled discomfort is opening the bill instead of ignoring it. Controlled discomfort is applying for the job even though rejection is possible. Controlled discomfort is learning a skill after work when your old habits want entertainment. Controlled discomfort is going to sleep on time because tomorrow matters. Controlled discomfort is telling yourself no and meaning it. That is discipline. Discipline now, peace later. Comfort becomes dangerous because it convinces you that discipline is punishment. But discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protection. Discipline protects your money from your moods. Discipline protects your future from your impulses. Discipline protects your peace from your excuses. It is not about being hard on yourself. It is about being honest with yourself. You say you want financial independence. Then your habits must become independent from your emotions. You say you want peace. Then your money must stop being controlled by comfort. You say you want a better future. Then your present decisions must stop betraying it. That is the key. Comfort is expensive when it becomes your master. Look at the lazy weekend. One weekend of rest is not the problem. Rest matters. Recovery matters. But a lifestyle of wasted weekends becomes expensive. Every weekend spent escaping instead of building becomes a lost opportunity. Every weekend where you spend money you do not have, avoid the skill you need, ignore the plan you promised, and reset nothing becomes another quiet theft from your future. Then Monday arrives. You are still tired, still stressed, still behind, still unprepared. And now you need comfort again because you avoided the very actions that would have made you stronger. That is the cycle. Comfort creates weakness. Weakness creates stress. Stress demands comfort. Comfort creates more weakness. Break the cycle. Control the habit, control the future. Start by identifying your comfort traps. Be honest. Is it food delivery, shopping, streaming, drinking, scrolling, sleeping too late, avoiding your bank account, saying yes to every invitation, buying things when you feel insecure, waiting until pressure becomes unbearable before you act? Name the trap. Then build a rule. Do not rely on mood. Mood will betray you. Build rules that work when you are tired. If delivery is the trap, prepare simple meals before the week starts. If shopping is the trap, remove saved cards and wait 48 hours before purchases. If avoidance is the trap, schedule a money review every Sunday. If laziness is the trap, make the first step small enough that you cannot excuse it. 10 minutes of learning. 1 job application. 1 debt payment. 1 transfer to savings. 1 walk. 1 clean workspace. 1 serious action. Do not wait to feel ready. Action creates readiness. You do not become disciplined by thinking about discipline. You become disciplined by obeying a rule when comfort is loud. That is where identity changes. When you want to spend but choose to save, identity changes. When you want to avoid but choose to face the numbers, identity changes. When you want to quit but choose to keep learning, identity changes. When you want the easy weekend but choose one productive block of time, identity changes. You are proving something to yourself. You are proving that comfort does not own you. You are proving that your future has authority. You are proving that you can choose freedom over comfort. And no, it will not feel good every time. Growth is uncomfortable. Building skill is uncomfortable. Saving when you want to spend is uncomfortable. Paying debt instead of buying pleasure is uncomfortable. Saying no is uncomfortable. Starting again after failure is uncomfortable. But regret is heavier. Regret is waking up years later and knowing you kept choosing the easy thing. Regret is realizing you had time, but you spent it. Regret is realizing you had income, but you leaked it. Regret is realizing you had chances to learn, apply, save, and grow, but you waited for a perfect mood that never came. Growth is uncomfortable, but regret is heavier. Choose the hard thing while you still have a choice. Do not wait for crisis to make you disciplined. Crisis is a brutal teacher. Crisis does not care whether you are tired. Crisis does not care whether you are ready. Crisis does not ask politely. It arrives and demands payment from every habit you refuse to change. Become disciplined before life forces discipline on you. Build margin before emergency demands it. Build skill before desperation requires it. Build savings before fear controls you. Build before you show. This is the serious path. Quiet. Repetitive. Unimpressive at first. But powerful. You may not feel transformed after one disciplined day. But every disciplined day is a brick. Every saved dollar is a brick. Every avoided impulse is a brick. Every hour spent learning is a brick. Every uncomfortable action is a brick. Eventually, you are not just changing your finances. You are changing your identity. You become someone who does not need comfort to feel safe. You become someone who can face discomfort without falling apart. You become someone who can delay pleasure, protect money, build skill, and stay calm under pressure. You become someone money cannot easily control. That is the goal. Not to suffer. To become free. Comfort is expensive when it becomes your master. Delayed responsibility becomes future pain. Choose the hard thing while you still have a choice. You have now learned that comfort becomes dangerous when it trains you to choose relief over progress, and that controlled discomfort today protects you from uncontrolled hardship tomorrow. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the next truth. Chapter 7. Make your income obey a plan. Income without a plan disappears. That is the truth you must accept. It does not matter how hard you work if your money has no direction after it arrives. It does not matter how many hours you give, how much stress you carry, how many responsibilities you manage, or how badly you want a better future. If your income enters your life without a plan, it will leave through temptation, pressure, habit, and emotion. Money without direction becomes temptation. Remember that. Money without direction becomes temptation. The amount you earn matters. Do not pretend it does not. Income matters. Better work matters. Skill matters. Earning power matters. But structure matters too. Direction matters. Discipline matters. Because more income without more discipline only creates a more expensive version of the same chaos. You have seen this before. Someone gets paid. For a moment, they feel safe. The account looks stronger. The pressure backs off. Then the spending begins. A little food. A little shopping. A little entertainment. A little, I deserve this. A little, I will fix it later. Then bills hit. Debt payments hit. Rent hits. Gas hits. Life hits. And suddenly the money is gone. They worked all month. But the money never obeyed a plan. That is not freedom. That is a cycle. Tell your money where to go before your emotions do. That is the key. It is not about being strict for no reason. It is about leadership. It is not about hating enjoyment. It is about controlled enjoyment. It is not about punishment. It is about protection. Planning is not punishment. Planning is protection. Your money needs leadership, not excuses. If you do not decide where your income goes, your habits will decide for you. If you do not assign your dollars a job, your impulses will hire them for nonsense. If you do not create a system before payday, payday will become a test you keep failing. Money without direction becomes temptation. Two people can earn the same salary and live completely different lives. One person gets paid and spends whatever arrives. They check the account casually. They pay bills when they remember. They save only if something is left. They order food because they are tired. They upgrade because they are bored. They buy things because they feel behind. They avoid numbers because numbers create anxiety. The other person earns the same amount. But the money obeys a plan. Needs are covered first. Savings happen automatically. Debt is reduced consistently. A small amount is invested when the foundation is ready. Money is set aside for learning, certifications, tools, books, training, or anything that increases earning power. Enjoyment exists, but it is controlled. It has a place. It does not take over the whole life. Same income, different identity. After 1 month, the difference may look small. After 1 year, it becomes visible. After 5 years, their lives do not look the same anymore. One person is still wondering where the money went. The other person has margin, skill, confidence, and options. Same income, different identity. That is why you must stop saying, "I do not make enough to plan." That sentence is dangerous. Planning is not only for people with extra money. Planning is how you create extra strength with the money you have. Even if the numbers are tight, the plan still matters. Especially when the numbers are tight. A person with limited money cannot afford confusion. A person under pressure cannot afford avoidance. A person trying to become free cannot afford random spending. Tell your money where to go before your emotions do. Start with needs. Be honest. Not wants disguised as needs. Real needs. Housing. Basic food. Transportation. Utilities. Insurance. Essential bills. The things that keep your life stable and functioning. Know those numbers. Write them down. Stop guessing. Stop hoping. Stop being surprised by bills that arrive every month. Then savings. Even if it starts small. Savings must become an identity, not an afterthought. Do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving. That shift matters. It trains the mind. It tells your future, I respect you. It tells your impulses, you are not in charge anymore. Discipline now, peace later. Then debt reduction. Debt is not just a balance. Debt is pressure. Debt is future income already promised away. Debt is a voice that speaks before your paycheck arrives. Every unnecessary payment reduces your freedom. So make a plan. Choose a method. Attack one balance. Stay consistent. Do not add new debt while pretending to escape old debt. That is not progress. That is a treadmill. Then investing, when appropriate for your situation and foundation. Not hype. Not panic. Not fantasy. Not gambling with money you need for rent. Investing must be approached with patience, education, and long-term thinking. The goal is not a miracle. The goal is ownership over time. The goal is to put money into motion responsibly after your basic stability is protected. Then learning. Do not ignore this. Your income is connected to your usefulness, your skills, your communication, your discipline, your ability to solve problems. Put money and time into becoming more capable. A course. A certification. A book. A tool. A workshop. A trade. A language. A technical skill. A sales skill. A leadership skill. Something that increases your value. Build before you show. Most people spend on appearance before they invest in ability. They upgrade the image before they upgrade the skill. They buy things to look successful instead of becoming more useful. That is backwards. Do not dress up financial weakness. Build ability. Build competence. Build leverage. Build something that can help you earn more, think better, and move differently. Then controlled enjoyment. Yes, enjoyment matters. But enjoyment needs boundaries. If enjoyment has no limits, it becomes sabotage. If entertainment has no structure, it becomes a leak. If I deserve it becomes the rule, your future pays the bill. You have a choice. You can enjoy life within a plan, or you can let enjoyment destroy the plan. You can spend intentionally, or you can spend emotionally. You can give your money direction, or you can watch temptation give it away. Money without direction becomes temptation. So create categories. Needs. Savings. Debt reduction. Investing. Learning. Controlled enjoyment. These categories are not complicated. They are serious. They turn income into action. They turn paychecks into progress. They turn work into freedom. That is the key. A paycheck should not just help you survive another month. A paycheck should move you forward. Even a small step forward matters. A little savings. A little debt reduction. A little learning. A little margin. A little control. Repeated long enough, small direction becomes major change. Control the habit, control the future. Do not let payday be an emotional event. Let payday be an execution day. The plan should already exist before the money arrives. The transfers should already be decided. The bills should already be known. The spending limit should already be set. The savings should already be scheduled. Do not wait until the money hits your account to become responsible. Responsibility starts before the money arrives. Tell your money where to go before your emotions do. Because your emotions will speak. They will say you deserve a break. They will say this one time does not matter. They will say the plan is too strict. They will say you can start again next paycheck. They will say everybody lives like this. Do not listen. Everybody is not building freedom. Everybody is not trying to become financially independent. Everybody is not serious about mastering money. You do not need their permission. You do not need their permission to budget. You do not need their permission to save first. You do not need their permission to refuse unnecessary spending. You do not need their permission to live below your income. You do not need their permission to become disciplined. Choose freedom over comfort. Comfort wants unplanned money because unplanned money feels easy. Freedom wants assigned money because assigned money creates power. Comfort wants the account to look full for a few days. Freedom wants the future to become stronger for years. Comfort wants spending without thought. Freedom wants peace without panic. Planning is how you protect your peace. Planning is how you reduce fear. Planning is how you stop treating money like something that happens to you. Money must obey the plan. Not the mood. Not the sale. Not the pressure. Not the comparison. Not the weekend. Not the group chat. The plan. That does not mean the plan will always be perfect. Life changes. Expenses shift. Mistakes happen. You may overspend. You may forget something. You may have to adjust. But adjusting a plan is different from having no plan. A serious person reviews, corrects, and continues. A serious person does not turn one mistake into surrender. You must review your money weekly. Not once a year. Not only when you are scared. Weekly. Look at what came in. Look at what went out. Look at what is left. Look at the plan. Look at the leaks. Make corrections while the problem is still small. Small leaks sink serious futures. A weekly review is not punishment. It is leadership. It is you sitting in the seat of control. It is you refusing to be surprised by your own life. It is you building a relationship with money based on clarity, not fear. Same income, different identity. The identity of a financially weak person says, I will see what happens. The identity of a disciplined person says, I will decide what happens with what I control. The identity of a financially weak person says, I hope there is something left. The identity of a disciplined person says, I save first. The identity of a financially weak person says, I deserve comfort. The identity of a disciplined person says, I choose freedom over comfort. That is the transformation. Not just numbers on a page. Identity. Leadership. Ownership. You are becoming someone who does not let income disappear without accountability. You are becoming someone who respects the hours it took to earn that money. You are becoming someone who can direct money toward stability, skill, savings, debt reduction, and long-term independence. This is how money stops controlling your peace. You stop letting it arrive without orders. You stop letting it leave without purpose. You stop letting emotions spend what discipline was supposed to protect. Make your income obey a plan. Every paycheck must serve the future, not just the moment. Every dollar must have a purpose, not just a place to disappear. Every month must move you closer to strength, not deeper into confusion. Money without direction becomes temptation. Tell your money where to go before your emotions do. Same income, different identity. You have now learned that income without a plan disappears, and that financial progress begins when every dollar receives direction before emotion gets access to it. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the next truth. Chapter 8. Use work as a weapon, not a prison. Work becomes a prison when you only use it to survive. That is the truth you must face. If your job is only a place where you trade hours for bills, then every week will feel like a sentence. You wake up, you go in, you give your energy, you take the paycheck, you pay the bills, and then you start again. Same pressure. Same exhaustion. Same dependence. Same fear of losing the income because the income is the only thing holding your life together. But work does not have to stay a prison. Work becomes a weapon when you use it correctly. Do not just work to survive, work to escape dependence. Remember that. Do not just work to survive, work to escape dependence. Your job is not just a paycheck. It is a training ground. It is a place where you can build discipline, communication, patience, competence, endurance, problem-solving, leadership, and value. It is a place where you can learn how money moves, how people operate, how systems work, how responsibility is rewarded, and how skill creates options. But most people waste the training ground. They show up bitter. They complain every day. They do the minimum. They learn nothing new. They build no relationships. They improve no skill. They wait for someone to notice them while giving no one a serious reason to notice. Then they go home tired, spend money to feel better, and repeat the cycle. That is not strategy. That is surrender. You have a choice. You can use work as a cage, or you can use work as a classroom. You can complain through the day, or you can study the day. You can trade time only for survival, or you can trade time for skill, savings, leverage, and future freedom. That is the key. It is not about loving every job. It is about using every job. It is not about pretending bad workplaces are good. It is about refusing to leave empty-handed. It is not about accepting disrespect forever. It is about preparing so you are not dependent forever. Become more useful, become harder to control. The person with no savings, no skill growth, no plan, and no confidence is easy to pressure. They have to tolerate too much. They have to swallow too much. They have to stay too long in places that drain them because they have not built enough value or margin to move. No margin means no choices. But skill creates mobility. Skill is income waiting to mature. Think about two employees in the same workplace. Same job. Same pay. Same manager. Same stress. One complains every day. They talk about how unfair everything is. They hate the schedule. They hate the customers. They hate the manager. They hate the pay. But they learn nothing. They do not improve communication. They do not study sales. They do not build technical ability. They do not learn management. They do not practice a trade. They do not update their resume. They do not save aggressively. They do not prepare for the next opportunity. They are angry, but they are not building. The other employee is also tired. They also see the problems. They also know the job is not the final destination. But they move differently. They watch. They learn. They ask better questions. They improve how they speak. They study after work. They take a course at night. They learn coding, sales, bookkeeping, project management, design, repair, logistics, leadership, or a trade skill. They save part of every paycheck. They reduce debt. They build references. They prepare quietly. After 5 years, they are not the same person. Same workplace, different identity. One used work as a place to complain. The other used work as a weapon. Skill is income waiting to mature. This is where you must take ownership. Not blame yourself for everything. Not pretend the economy is easy. Not pretend every workplace is fair. Not pretend opportunity is equal for everyone. But ownership means you stop waiting for circumstances to become perfect before you become serious. Better work usually follows better value. Not always immediately. Not always easily. Not always in a straight line. But over time, value creates leverage. Skill creates options. Discipline creates movement. Competence creates confidence. And confidence changes how you negotiate, apply, interview, save, and decide. Become more useful, become harder to control. You do not need their permission to grow. You do not need their permission to study after work. You do not need their permission to save. You do not need their permission to apply elsewhere. You do not need their permission to stop seeing your current job as your whole identity. Your job may pay your bills right now, but it does not have to define your ceiling. Do not just work to survive, work to escape dependence. That means every paycheck must have two jobs. One job is to support your current life. The second job is to help build your future life. If every paycheck only pays for survival and comfort, you are staying in the same cage. But if part of that paycheck builds savings, reduces debt, funds learning, buys tools, pays for certification, or gives you breathing room, then the paycheck becomes a weapon. Money without direction becomes temptation. Tell your money where to go before your emotions do. Your work must fund your escape from dependence, not just your recovery from exhaustion. Too many people work hard and then spend hard because they feel wounded by the work. They say, "I deserve this." And maybe they do deserve rest. Maybe they do deserve comfort. But if every hard week becomes an excuse to spend the money that was supposed to free you, the job keeps owning you. Comfort is expensive when it becomes your master. Choose freedom over comfort. After work, your tired mind will ask for escape. It will ask for scrolling, spending, eating out, drinking, shopping, and distraction. It will say, "You worked all day. You should not have to build anything tonight." But the future will ask a different question. Did you use today to get stronger? That is the question. Not perfect. Stronger. 15 minutes of learning is stronger. 1 page of notes is stronger. 1 application is stronger. 1 saved amount is stronger. 1 improved resume line is stronger. 1 uncomfortable conversation is stronger. 1 fewer wasteful purchase is stronger. Control the habit, control the future. Do not wait until you have more energy to build a better life. Energy comes and goes. Build a system. Choose a learning window. Choose 2 nights per week. Choose 1 hour on Saturday morning. Choose a skill that connects to earning power. Choose a simple financial target. Choose a plan. Do not wait to feel ready. Build rules that work when you are tired. Your rule might be this: every paycheck, a portion goes to emergency savings. Every week, 2 hours go to skill building. Every month, 1 improvement goes on the resume. Every quarter, you apply for better opportunities or review your career path. Every day at work, you identify 1 skill you can strengthen. That is how work becomes a weapon. Not through fantasy, through repetition, through ownership, through discipline. It is not about hating your job. It is about using your job. It is not about blaming your boss. It is about building your value. It is not about escaping work entirely. It is about escaping dependence on 1 fragile source of income, 1 approval system, 1 paycheck, 1 person's decision. Become more useful, become harder to control. If you work in customer service, build communication. Learn how to calm conflict. Learn how to sell. Learn how to listen. Learn how to solve problems under pressure. Those skills transfer. If you work in a warehouse, learn systems. Learn inventory. Learn safety. Learn logistics. Learn team coordination. Learn management. Those skills transfer. If you work in an office, learn software. Learn reporting. Learn writing. Learn project coordination. Learn how decisions get made. Those skills transfer. If you work in a trade, improve precision. Learn estimates. Learn customer communication. Learn scheduling. Learn business basics. Those skills transfer. Do not waste the place you are in, even if you do not want to stay there. Especially if you do not want to stay there. Build before you show. Build skill before you demand better pay. Build savings before you walk away. Build confidence before you make your move. Build proof before you ask for opportunity. Build the person who is ready for the next level before the next level arrives. The world is not obligated to reward your frustration, but it often responds to value. It responds to competence. It responds to reliability. It responds to people who can solve problems, communicate clearly, and carry responsibility. So become that person. Quietly. Seriously. Daily. Skill is income waiting to mature. And understand this clearly. You are not learning just to earn more. You are learning to become less controllable. The more useful you are, the more options you can create. The more options you create, the less fear controls your decisions. The less fear controls your decisions, the more peace you protect. This is connected to everything in this audiobook. Control your spending so your paycheck is not wasted. Control your mind so money has direction. Control your habits so comfort does not steal your future. Control your work so your time becomes a tool instead of a trap. That is financial independence in motion. Maybe you cannot quit today. Fine. Prepare. Maybe you cannot earn more this month. Fine. Build skill. Maybe you cannot change your entire life immediately. Fine. Change the pattern. You have a choice. You can spend the next year complaining about the same job, or you can use the next year to become someone who has better options. You can leave work every day with only fatigue, or you can leave with lessons. You can let the job drain you completely, or you can force it to produce skill, savings, and leverage. Do not just work to survive, work to escape dependence. Because survival alone is not enough. Paying bills alone is not enough. Getting through another week alone is not enough. You are not meant to spend your entire life one paycheck away from fear, one manager away from panic, one job loss away from collapse. You are building something stronger. You are becoming someone who can earn, save, learn, adapt, and move. You are becoming someone who cannot be financially controlled. So go to work with a different mind. Not passive. Not bitter. Not asleep. Go in like a student. Go in like a strategist. Go in like a person collecting lessons, income, discipline, references, and skills. Go in knowing that every day must produce more than exhaustion. Your job is not just a paycheck. It is a training ground. Use it. You have now learned that work becomes a prison when you only trade time for survival, but it becomes a weapon when you use it to build skill, leverage, savings, and future options. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the next truth. Chapter 9. Patience builds what impulse destroys. Patience builds what impulse destroys. That is the truth you must understand now. Impatience is one of the most expensive financial habits in the world. It does not always look dangerous. Sometimes it looks like excitement. Sometimes it looks like ambition. Sometimes it looks like confidence. Sometimes it looks like urgency. But when impatience controls your money, it turns your future into a sacrifice. Impulse wants the reward now. Patience protects the future. Impulse buys pressure. Patience buys freedom. Remember that. Impulse buys pressure. Patience buys freedom. The impulsive person is always reaching for the next feeling, the next purchase, the next upgrade, the next opportunity that promises quick results, the next shortcut, the next emotional escape. They want the result without the season. They want wealth without repetition. They want peace without discipline. They want confidence without proving anything to themselves. That is why they keep restarting. They start saving, then spend the savings because progress feels too slow. They start investing, then sell too early because the market moves against them or because they panic. They start paying down debt, then take on new debt because they want comfort now. They start building a skill, then quit because they are not good immediately. They start a budget, then abandon it because 1 week went wrong. They keep destroying the very progress they prayed for. Slow progress is still progress if you stop destroying it. That is the key. It is not about moving fast. It is about staying consistent. It is not about never wanting more. It is about not letting desire make reckless decisions. It is not about being passive. It is about being disciplined enough to let time work. You have a choice. You can chase quick relief, or you can build long-term freedom. You can keep reacting to every slow season, or you can learn how to remain steady. You can let impulse keep making your life expensive, or you can let patience make your life stronger. Choose freedom over comfort. Comfort wants speed. Comfort wants proof now. Comfort wants visible results now. Comfort wants to feel successful now. Comfort wants to spend now, quit now, react now, change direction now, and escape discomfort now. Freedom is quieter. Freedom says, stay with the plan. Freedom says, do not destroy what you have started. Freedom says, let boring repetition do its work. Freedom says, the future belongs to the person who can wait without quitting. Most people underestimate the quiet season. The quiet season is when nothing looks impressive. You are saving small amounts. You are paying debt slowly. You are investing responsibly. You are learning a skill badly before you learn it well. You are saying no to purchases. You are living below your income. You are not seeing dramatic results yet. And that is where many people quit. Not because the plan failed. Because patience failed. Impulse buys pressure. Patience buys freedom. Think about someone who starts investing. They put money aside responsibly. They understand that long-term investing requires time, education, and emotional control. But then the market drops. Their account looks smaller. Fear enters. They panic. They sell too early. Then, months later, they watch things recover without them. They did not lose only because the market moved. They lost because emotion made the decision. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. Or think about someone building an emergency fund. They save for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. The account grows slowly. Then they feel frustrated. They say, this is taking too long. They spend it on a trip, a phone, clothes, or comfort. Then the car breaks down. Now the money they had is gone, and the pressure returns. They did not fail because saving was impossible. They failed because progress felt boring. Slow progress is still progress if you stop destroying it. Or think about someone learning a skill. They want better work. They want better income. They want mobility. So they start learning communication, sales, coding, bookkeeping, management, design, a trade, or another valuable skill. At first, it feels awkward. They are slow. They make mistakes. They do not feel talented. After 2 weeks, they stop. Then they complain that nothing changes. Skill is income waiting to mature. But skill cannot mature if you keep quitting. The future belongs to the person who can wait without quitting. This is the discipline most people avoid. Not the discipline of starting. Starting is emotional. Starting feels exciting. Starting gives you a sense of identity. The harder discipline is continuing when the excitement leaves. Continuing when nobody notices. Continuing when the result is small. Continuing when the old life still looks easier. That is where freedom is built. Discipline now, peace later. You must learn to respect boring repetition. Boring repetition is where wealth is built. Boring repetition is where stability is built. Boring repetition is where confidence is built. Boring repetition is where your identity changes. Saving every paycheck is boring. Reviewing your budget is boring. Paying debt again is boring. Learning after work is boring. Avoiding unnecessary purchases is boring. Keeping the old car is boring. Cooking at home is boring. Saying no is boring. But boring is not weak. Boring is powerful when it is pointed in the right direction. The disciplined person looks boring before they look free. Build before you show. You do not need their permission to move slowly. You do not need their permission to avoid the trend. You do not need their permission to choose patience in a world addicted to speed. You do not need their permission to say, "I am building something that takes time." The world will tempt you to hurry. Advertisements will tell you to buy now. Social media will show you people who appear to have skipped the process. Friends will pressure you to spend because they do not see the foundation you are building. Your own mind will ask why the results are not bigger yet. Stay steady. Tell your money where to go before your emotions do. Tell your mind the truth before impulse tells you a lie. The truth is simple. Anything valuable takes time. Financial peace takes time. Skill takes time. Debt reduction takes time. Investing takes time. Confidence takes time. A stronger identity takes time. And time only helps the person who stays consistent. Impulse buys pressure. Patience buys freedom. Now understand what patience is not. Patience is not laziness. Patience is not doing nothing. Patience is not hoping life improves while you avoid responsibility. Patience is disciplined action repeated long enough to produce results. Patience is saving again even when the amount feels small. Patience is paying debt again even when the balance still looks large. Patience is learning again even when you feel behind. Patience is applying again after rejection. Patience is staying with a realistic plan instead of chasing a reckless shortcut. Patience is controlled effort over time. That is the key. It is not about waiting passively. It is about working steadily. It is not about ignoring problems. It is about refusing to make problems worse through panic. It is not about being slow for no reason. It is about moving in a direction you can sustain. Control the habit, control the future. If you want to build patience, you must create rules for impulse. Rule 1. Delay non-essential purchases. Wait 24 hours. Wait 48 hours. Give your future self a chance to speak before your present emotion spends. If the purchase still makes sense later, decide calmly. If it disappears from your desire, you just saved yourself from pressure. Rule 2. Protect your emergency fund from emotional spending. Emergency money is for emergencies. Not boredom. Not insecurity. Not comparison. Not, "I deserve this." Your emergency fund is not just money, it is dignity. Do not steal dignity from your future self. Rule 3. Measure progress monthly, not emotionally. Some days will feel slow. Some weeks will look disappointing. But a serious person reviews the trend. Are you saving more than before? Are you reducing debt? Are you learning consistently? Are you spending with more control? That is progress. Rule 4. Stop changing plans every time you feel uncomfortable. A plan needs time to work. If the plan is realistic, give it time. Adjust with wisdom, not panic. Do not let every bad mood become a new strategy. Rule 5. Expect boredom. Expect resistance. Expect slow seasons. When you expect them, they do not shock you. You can say, "This is part of the process." Then you continue. Slow progress is still progress if you stop destroying it. You must stop worshiping intensity. Intensity starts things. Consistency finishes them. Intensity makes promises. Consistency keeps them. Intensity feels powerful for a week. Consistency becomes powerful over years. Financial independence is not built by one intense weekend. It is built by thousands of repeated choices. The decision not to overspend. The decision to save first. The decision to pay debt. The decision to learn. The decision to wait. The decision to continue when nobody is impressed. The future belongs to the person who can wait without quitting. There will be moments when impulse feels louder than wisdom. You will want to spend the savings. You will want to abandon the budget. You will want to chase the shiny opportunity. You will want to buy the thing because you are tired of feeling behind. You will want to quit learning because progress is slow. In those moments, pause. Ask yourself, will this decision give me freedom or will it give me pressure? Ask yourself, am I choosing patience or am I buying another problem? Ask yourself, am I protecting the future or am I feeding the moment? That pause is power. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. The impulsive person is controlled by urgency. The patient person is guided by standards. The impulsive person keeps reacting. The patient person keeps building. The impulsive person wants proof before consistency. The patient person understands consistency creates proof. Same income, different identity. Same opportunity, different patience. Same goal, different endurance. That is why some people move forward while others keep restarting. The difference is not always talent. It is not always luck. It is not always intelligence. Often, it is the ability to keep going through the boring middle. The boring middle is where debt gets smaller. The boring middle is where savings get stronger. The boring middle is where skill becomes useful. The boring middle is where discipline becomes identity. Do not abandon the boring middle. Do not destroy slow progress. Do not let impulse steal what patience is building. Choose freedom over comfort. Build before you show. Control the habit, control the future. Because the version of you who becomes financially independent is not the version that reacts to every craving. It is the version that can wait. It is the version that can remain steady. It is the version that can protect money, protect time, protect attention, and protect the plan. You are not just saving money. You are training patience. You are not just delaying a purchase. You are building authority over yourself. The future belongs to the person who can wait without quitting. You have now learned that patience protects what impulse destroys, and that wealth, stability, confidence, and freedom are built through realistic expectations, delayed gratification, and boring repetition. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand this, you must face the final truth. Chapter 10. Become the kind of person money cannot control. Become the kind of person money cannot control. That is the final truth. Financial independence is not only about having money. It is about becoming someone different. Someone disciplined. Someone calm. Someone skilled. Someone patient. Someone difficult to manipulate. Someone who does not panic every time life applies pressure. Someone who does not sell their peace for comfort, image, impulse, or approval. When you control yourself, money loses control over you. Remember that. When you control yourself, money loses control over you. This entire journey has never been only about numbers. It has been about identity. Because money follows the person holding it. If the person is chaotic, the money becomes chaotic. If the person is impulsive, the money disappears through impulse. If the person is insecure, the money gets spent on image. If the person is undisciplined, the money gets wasted before it can build anything. But when the person changes, the money begins to change. That is the key. It is not about luck. It is about identity. It is not about motivation. It is about discipline. It is not about pretending to be rich. It is about becoming stable. It is not about chasing comfort. It is about choosing freedom. You have a choice. You can keep negotiating with weakness, or you can start living by rules. You can keep letting every feeling touch your wallet, or you can build standards that protect your future. You can keep repeating the old identity, or you can become someone your old financial habits cannot recognize. Become someone your old financial habits cannot recognize. That is what this chapter is about. Not a better mood. Not a temporary reset. A new standard. The person money cannot control does not spend like they are lost. They pause. They think. They ask, does this purchase support my peace, or does it feed my pressure? They know every purchase is a vote for the person they are becoming. They do not let boredom, stress, loneliness, or comparison spend their future. Control the habit, control the future. The person money cannot control has a calm mind. They do not make financial decisions in emotional heat. They do not shop to prove they are enough. They do not avoid their numbers because avoidance creates fear. They face the account. They face the debt. They face the bills. They face the truth. A calm mind makes cleaner money decisions. The person money cannot control understands discipline. They know discipline feels restrictive at first, but creates breathing room later. They know saving first, budgeting, canceling waste, reducing payments, and saying no are not punishments. They are protection. Discipline now, peace later. The person money cannot control builds before they show. They do not dress up financial weakness. They do not buy the appearance of progress while avoiding the foundation. They do not let ego design their budget. They do not let insecurity become a monthly payment. Build before you show. The person money cannot control builds margin. They understand that no margin means no choices. They do not want to live one emergency away from fear. They build a buffer. They reduce obligations. They protect options. They know an emergency fund is not just money, it is dignity. Preparation creates peace. The person money cannot control does not let comfort steal the future. They rest, but they do not worship ease. They enjoy life, but they do not become a servant of pleasure. They choose controlled discomfort now so they are not forced into uncontrolled hardship later. Choose freedom over comfort. The person money cannot control gives income a plan. They do not let payday become a celebration before responsibility is handled. They assign every dollar a job. Needs. Savings. Debt reduction. Investing. Learning. Controlled enjoyment. They tell money where to go before emotions do. Money without direction becomes temptation. The person money cannot control uses work as a weapon, not a prison. They do not just work to survive. They work to escape dependence. They turn the job into a training ground. They build skill, leverage, savings, discipline, and future options. Skill is income waiting to mature. The person money cannot control has patience. They do not destroy slow progress because it is not exciting. They do not sell too early, quit too soon, spend the savings, abandon the habit, or change the plan every time discomfort appears. They understand that wealth, stability, and confidence are built through boring repetition. Impulse buys pressure. Patience buys freedom. And now all of that must become one standard. Not 10 ideas. One identity. When you control yourself, money loses control over you. Think about the person who once felt trapped. They stayed in bad situations because they had no savings. They tolerated disrespect because they had no options. They panicked over every bill because they had no margin. They spent for comfort because they had no emotional control. They worked only to survive because they had no plan. Then they changed. Not overnight. Through repetition. They built savings. They lowered debt. They stopped spending for approval. They learned useful skills. They kept simple habits. They reviewed their money weekly. They said no without shame. They stopped needing every purchase to feel alive. They stopped needing every person to understand their discipline. Now pressure does not hit them the same way. They are not fearless because life is easy. They are confident because they prepared. Preparation creates peace. When a bill arrives, they handle it. When temptation appears, they pause. When a toxic opportunity asks for their obedience, they think clearly. When someone pressures them to spend, they can say no. When work becomes unstable, they have skills, savings, and a plan. That is freedom beginning to show. Not luxury. Not fantasy. Freedom. Freedom is being harder to scare. Freedom is having more than one option. Freedom is not needing to impress people who do not carry your consequences. Freedom is being able to wait, think, choose, and walk away when walking away becomes necessary. Become someone your old financial habits cannot recognize. That means you must stop negotiating. Stop negotiating with the version of you that spends to feel better. Stop negotiating with the version of you that avoids the numbers. Stop negotiating with a version of you that says, I will start next month. Stop negotiating with a version of you that chooses comfort over freedom. Stop negotiating with a version of you that wants to look wealthy before becoming stable. You have negotiated long enough. Now you need rules. Rules for spending. Rules for saving. Rules for debt. Rules for work. Rules for learning. Rules for rest. Rules for temptation. Rules for pressure. Rules for the moments when your old self tries to return. Do not wait to feel ready. Build rules that work when you are tired. That is serious living. And serious living does not mean joyless living. It means directed living. It means your life has order. It means your money has purpose. It means your time has value. It means your habits are not random. It means your future is not abandoned every time the present becomes uncomfortable. You do not need their permission. You do not need permission to simplify. You do not need permission to save. You do not need permission to stop going places you cannot afford. You do not need permission to build skills quietly. You do not need permission to become disciplined. You do not need permission to protect your peace. The world will keep selling you distraction. You must keep choosing direction. The world will keep selling you comfort. You must keep choosing freedom. The world will keep selling you image. You must keep choosing foundation. Build before you show. Because the goal is not to have money for the sake of money. The goal is to no longer be controlled by fear. The goal is to make decisions from strength, not desperation. The goal is to stop letting every bill, every impulse, every opinion, every paycheck, every emergency, and every emotion decide who you become. Mastering money begins with mastering yourself. Control your spending. Control your mind. Control your discipline. Control your comfort. Control your income. Control your work. Control your patience. Control the habit. Control the future. And understand this. Financial independence is not a finish line you reach one day and then become serious. Seriousness comes first. Discipline comes first. Ownership comes first. Identity comes first. The future is built by the person you become before the results are obvious. The disciplined person looks boring before they look free. So let it be boring. Let the savings grow quietly. Let the debt shrink quietly. Let the skills develop quietly. Let the habits become stronger quietly. Let the old version of you lose power quietly. One day, your life will reflect what your discipline has been building. And when that day comes, money will no longer control your peace the way it once did. When you control yourself, money loses control over you. Preparation creates peace. Become someone your old financial habits cannot recognize. You have now learned that financial independence is ultimately a personal transformation, and that mastering money begins with mastering identity, discipline, habits, time, work, patience, and emotional control. But this is only the beginning of how you live from this moment forward. Because once you understand this, you must face the final challenge. Control your money, control your habits, control your time, and become the kind of person who cannot be financially controlled. Control your money, or your money will control your peace. Control your habits, or your habits will quietly spend your future before you arrive there. Control your time, because every wasted hour becomes an unpaid debt to the life you said you wanted. Build before you show. Save before you celebrate. Learn before you complain. Plan before you spend. Choose freedom over comfort, because comfort today can become captivity tomorrow. You do not need to be lucky to become stronger with money. You need to become honest. You need to become consistent. You need to become the kind of person who does not panic every time life demands payment. The kind of person who cannot be bought by pressure, trapped by impulse, or controlled by fear. Your financial independence begins with one serious decision repeated until it becomes your identity. So today, do one thing. Cancel one wasteful habit. Save one amount. Pay one debt. Learn one skill. Make one disciplined move toward freedom, and prove to yourself that money no longer owns your peace.